What's going on? We are live. Yeah! We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And I feel like I've been jonesing for this because I don't think I've been live on NavalX for like 2 weeks. And if anyone knows me at all, that's a long time. It's like, come on, where's my peeps? So coming off of leave, super pumped. And today we're going to talk about the NavalX 2-year anniversary. And we got some awesome teammates on the line. So because we got to let everyone know who everyone is, Isabel, we'll start with you. Say who you are, how much ever you want to say, and your favorite ice cream.
I'm on a rotation from NavalX and happy to be here celebrating with NavalX.
Woo! Brad?
Hey, I'm Brad Goodrich. I'm coming from NAVC Carter Rock. I'm thrilled to be here with the team. Thanks.
David?
David Schiff, coming from NAVC headquarters, CO5, the engineering directorate, and hitting my 2-year mark as well.
At NavalX or born? You're only 2
No,
years
I'm 2 years old. No, yeah, the 2 years at NavalX.
So you're one of those advanced children that grow and learn really fast.
Yeah, exactly. It's the opposite of Benjamin Button.
I was just going to say that.
I like it. Jen?
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Commander Jen Franco, and I've rotated out of NavalX, but I enjoy the experience so much, I'm back for your anniversary.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever rotated out. You claimed you did, but you keep helping us. I keep getting emails like, "Hey, here you go, here you go." It's like you're a good person that just loves us and loves our mission, so we appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, Mike Pine, what's up?
Hey, I'm just rotated into NavalX. Came from OpNav N1, and I was actually a heavy user of NavalX across the 2 years that you've all been around. I think we heard about you guys not very long after you got stood up, so it's exciting to be here and being on the other side, helping to keep it going forward.
Fantastic. And you're what, like 2 weeks in? You said 3 weeks in with us.
I will be permanently 2 weeks until people figure out that I'm not actually new anymore. So we'll see how long that takes.
Fantastic. And Lee, how's it going?
Great. Thank you, Matt. I hail from the Northeast, and my roots here are steeped in the Northeast Tech Bridge, as well as the 401 Tech Bridge, which is a fairly unique sister organization to our national tech bridge that originated out of our state. I get to sit between the two teams and with the two teams, and we link arms to do some really great things here in the Northeast. So thank you.
Very cool. Very cool. And Rockstar Ashley, as her name says.
Yes, Rockstar Ashley. I'm on rotation from NSWC Carter Rock, and I've been here 1.5 years. So woohoo, 2-year anniversary NavalX. Like, I don't ever want to leave. It's so great.
Fantastic. Well, 2 years. We've been NavalX, 2 days ago, right, David? The 14th. So David has been here before that. So what was it like back then? Paint us a picture of how things were becoming and what was going on.
Yeah, it was I guess relatively Wild West for at least for our team. We Chris Wood had been working directly with Secretary Gertz and with a few folks who came in from DAS and RDT&E. So the Secretary of the Navy for Research and Development had Scott Hargate and Lauren Hanyok, who we call Tink. And so I met Chris and John Margolick, who had come from the Marine Corps' front office, essentially, as a former JAG. And we were all just coming together, met up in Crystal City, and then met up again in our current space, the NavalX headquarters, which was just basically a maker space, a collaboration space, and then this big empty room, this warehouse. And it was basically like a bunch of us kind of striking rocks together until something caught fire, using PowerPoints as the rocks, really. So trying to figure out what is it that would change the face of Navy and Marine Corps innovation. And we realized quickly in working with Hondo, with Mr. Gertz, that it wasn't going to be a top-down effort. It was going to be more of a grassroots collaborative organization that really pulled together the best of what the Navy and Marine Corps have to offer already, and make sure that all the different experts we have in our workforce could connect with others who needed that expertise, and that we would be able to leverage the systems commands, the warfare centers, the research and development community, the fleet, of course, and then our sister organizations, the Air Force and the Army. There was no Space Force back then. So we just realized quickly that the right answer is that we need more collaboration between communities of interest and practice, and that we were going to do everything we could experimentally and with a lot of enthusiasm to make that happen.
Well, do you think we have a lot of enthusiasm on the NavalX team now?
Woohoo! Yeah. Yeah, I think it's one of the things we've maintained for 2 years is the just go-getter, like, let's get it done, let's make it happen attitude, and a lot of positivity. And we've looked for that in the people we've recruited, and we continue to recruit. Brad can probably tell you a little bit about that this year. But yeah, I really think that the adjectives we use to describe people we want on the team, which is creative, empathetic, adaptable, hungry to deliver results, go-getters, essentially, that really does describe the folks on our team and the people we surround ourselves with. And that's the attitude we want to prevail for the department.
Fantastic. Brad, so we are in a recruiting phase right now for NavalX. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. As you can see, our team is all brand new all the time. We're always looking to replace ourselves and grow with new ideas, help with initiatives that we've got going. If you're thinking about, a rotational and expanding your career horizon, if you're thinking about gaining a different perspective, let's start the conversation. We did an Ask Me Anything last Thursday. We can share that YouTube link with some basic questions and ideas of things we're looking for. But just send me an email with, hey, Brad, my name is X, and I want to talk about NavalX. And I will sort of start there.
What's your email, Brad?
Can I put it in chat, or
tell it to me right now?
It's bradley.g.goodrich@navy.mil. Or find me on LinkedIn. Brad Goodrich Navy comes right up.
Boom.
Boom. Look at that. Out for the world.
It's available now. Very cool. So, Mike Pine, you're brand new to NavalX, maybe 2 weeks forever. Why did you decide? Like David kind of gave a vision of where we were a couple of years ago. Why did you decide to come, or why did you want to come join the party that is NavalX?
I think for me, it was like, when I came here from OpNav N1, we in OpNav N1 had been trying to push forward a digital transformation for a few years. And, I saw that the stuff we were trying to do there is just as important for, the OpNav N4 and N9, the NAVCs, and all across the Dawn, right? And so, in my last few years here, while I'm, still in the Navy in uniform, I wanted to go to a place where I could, help make a difference and help carry some of the impact I'd made there, to an audience that hadn't seen it before. Because I think one big thing that, we need more of in the Navy, Marine Corps is just helping to teach people how to, innovate their own spaces from the bottom down. So, I wanted to, help with that. I learned some things from NavalX that I wanted to, then be able to share with others. And I felt coming over here was the best way for me to do that.
Fantastic. Well, we're excited to have you, whether it's for 2 weeks or 10 years. We're happy to have you here for sure, especially with your awesome bear behind you. I mean, that's part of your identity now. Oh, it's hidden. There it is. So if you guys are out there live, let us know. I can see the numbers, but not the whole team can see. So throw us a comment. Tell us where you're watching from, what you're doing. If you got questions for the NavalX team, this is part of us. This is all of us. But this is what happens when about 3.5 hours ago, someone tells me, hey, we haven't done anything for the 2-year anniversary. I'm like, who wants to go live? Let's go live. So, and nobody responded until about 4:30. And I'm still technically on leave. And then I was like, where's everybody doing? They're like working or something. No one's responding to me in chat. And all of a sudden, everyone's like, hey, we're available. So I am grateful that everyone is adaptable, because anyone that worked with me for 3 seconds knows that I usually roll really, really quickly, and I like to go live with very little notice. So,
I think Matt, I think that's
what happened
one
to
of
me.
the.
oh, David,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. David, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think one of the cool things about our team is we've got some folks who are willing to just go live on a podcast or on a video like this, and we have folks who have a lot of talents that we have discovered over time, which is really pretty awesome because I think there are definitely those talents are throughout the naval workforce, and it's something we've discovered in our own team is whether it was Scott Hargate's amazing woodwork capabilities, and this is like a guy we pulled in because of his IT prowess, and then we find out he's also an advanced woodworker. And Matt, I think we wanted your help building communities with Fusion, and then we found out that you also wanted to be like a big podcast, and you didn't know yet.
I don't know if wanted to be was there.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that world existed yet. I was like, let's try it.
Yeah, and I think that's the one. And then like Ashley, seemed very shy at first. I joke with her about this all the time. For about an hour or two, Ashley seemed very shy, and then we quickly realized she was willing to come help us facilitate at the moment's notice or help put together a seaside chat if we had a panel discussion. And all the folks on camera now, and all the folks who couldn't make it right now, everyone has these amazing latent skills and talents that we're trying to make sure we take advantage of in a good way.
Yeah, well, and Ashley, we'll get to you in 1 second, but I think that speaks to what Brad was saying about the recruiting and the people we're looking for. We're not looking for hard skills of you have to code this fast in this many seconds, or you have to do this. We need certain things for that. But David, you spoke to it perfectly of just, we want people and we want those hidden skills. We want the things that maybe you don't get to be advanced woodworker in the Navy. Come to NavalX and we'll find something for you to do. So, Ashley, you had a comment or thought.
Of course not. My comments and thoughts come and go as the wind blows. So I'll think of something else great to say later.
Sounds good. So, Jen, let's talk about how your experience of getting exposed to NavalX and now you're here. You were on the team for about 2 weeks, and then you thought we were lame, so you left. But not lame enough that you're still here.
Well, I was with the team for a little bit longer than 2 weeks, but the history of being involved with NavalX really stems before I actually started working with NavalX directly, and it goes back to a relationship that I had with the Office of Naval Research, and I was invited to an event in January of 2020. To come and talk with you guys and listen to what you were trying to do from a strategic communications perspective. You were new. You needed to get awareness out about who you were, what you're trying to do, and what you're not. Right? You're not another layer of bureaucracy. You are trying to teach agile methodology. You are trying to create a safe place to learn agile methodology and help people understand how to use those methodologies to improve the acquisition pipeline. And all of that was really exciting to me. I had some work in my civilian life, working with small businesses in the small business office for OSD. And I also had some very small experience at the F-35 program, which is the DoD's largest acquisition program. And so everything just kind of came together for me when I was at NavalX, and I really enjoyed the team collaboration that was there and still is there. I found my tribe, in other words, because we were all wanting to do something, wanting to make a difference. And so many times when you work with big bureaucracies, there's a tendency to do what we've always done. And that's not what NavalX is about. It's not to say that those things don't have a time and a place, but we're in a time and a place right now in terms of innovation and where we need to go. We're doing the same thing the same way we've always done it. Doesn't work anymore. And so NavalX really helps to kind of bust through those old ideasms to learn different ways to work together.
Leave it to our corporate communications teammate to just pull it all in. You can just end right now. We're done. Thank you, Jen. And I think Jen has found her tribe so much that while she has this new job, she still supports us as a reservist. And we don't want to get rid of Jen, but we couldn't if we wanted to. She's like, no, I'm staying. I'm staying. So we love all you do for us, and some great things. And I always reference this anytime me and Jen are talking publicly, because I don't know if it embarrasses her, but I think it's funny for me. When I went down this Mohawk Matt journey of David, I didn't realize that this is what was going to happen. Even when we first met, this isn't what we talked about at all. And Jen was actually the first person that ever asked me for a selfie. And so she helped get over my selfie fears of being Mohawk Matt. So that'll always be down in my memories of Jen the first time we met. So we do have a question here. Before that, Isabel and Lee, I'm going to come to you guys. Isabel, what has your time been like in the last 8 months here? Crap. I mean, everyone else said it's good, so please don't say crappy.
It has been very dynamic, which is great, and not the way that I have found the government to function ever. So it's been a great learning experience and a lot of fun. I definitely have enjoyed it. It pushes you to learn and try new things and step out of your boundaries. So I've appreciated that perspective since
How
it's
have
easy to get
you?
stuck.
What's one thing that has pushed you out of your boundary since joining NavalX?
Oh, going live. Yeah, there you go.
That's what happens. Phones fall. That's awesome. Well, I will always be here to push you to go live. You know that. So, Lee, before I read this question from LinkedIn, what's your experience been like, and what do you do really with NavalX? You talked about it a little bit.
Yeah. So I've been with NavalX, specifically the tech bridges, just a tad over a year. And it's been probably one of the most rewarding things I've done in what you can obviously tell from the camera is a very mature stage of my career. But it's been an awesome journey. I started early on in defense consulting, and then went on with Raytheon to their mission innovation team and led that for a while. And then I was able to take a leap, a really scary but very educational leap, and do a tech startup. And then ended up pulling those experiences around in the nonprofit defense support world. And when this opportunity came along, it was probably it was kind of like written in the stars that I could integrate everything I'd ever done into one role. And it's been fascinating because I really believe that the real value happens at the intersection points. It happens through collision opportunities where, innovation happens, sometimes magic happens. And that's what we're really trying to do, is create these wonderful intersection and collision points. And here in the Northeast, it gets very real when we have a Navy mission that can benefit from a technology that maybe is or maybe is not ready for prime time. And we can help that along in its journey. We can help a company. We can help our ecosystem. We can ground a business into it being thriving and adding jobs and contributing to what our needs are, both in DoD and outside DoD into the commercial world. So the dual use opportunities are alive and well. One small example of that is the thriving undersea market we have here in the Northeast with all the blue Carter and the blue tech world. Well, by the same token, DoD is a huge player in that world. So is offshore energy, offshore wind. So those two, just one example of two market domains that intersect so beautifully in terms of opportunities for technology to flow back and forth between the two realms. So this has been a blast. It's been a phenomenal experience, and I really have enjoyed working with an incredible team of professionals at the national level with NavalX, and in particular, the local people that I work with, like our Tech Bridge Director, Steve Bordenaro, Christian Cowan, our MEP lead, our manager of the 401 side, Mary Johnson, Susan Daly, who is an incredible professional out of the nonprofit world. So very fortunate. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, we love having you, Lee. Obviously, otherwise we would have got rid of you. So you're amazing. So thanks for being part of the NavalX family. I was about to go to our question, But now we have another member who joined the party. So what's up, Bobby? Tell us who you are. Where are you coming from?
Hey, I am Bobby Hanvey. I'm the director of the Mid-Atlantic Tech Bridge and some of the founding members of NavalX. So excited that it's 2 years. And for the first time, for all the people who see me on camera, this is what my closet actually looks like because I don't have a background like I normally do. So when I say I'm in my closet, I mean literally I'm in my closet. My wife won't let me go anywhere else, and I kind of, no, I'm sorry.
So that's why he usually does these things from cars.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, that's a joke for a lot of the team. Like we joke that the Mid-Atlantic Tech Bridge is my car, and it was, I don't have a car payment, but it's paying for my car because almost every video call I've done for 2 years, especially NavalX call, I'm in my car because I work in a space where I can't take my phone. So
Bobby, I'm gonna come back to you. So I'm gonna give you a chance to think about this while I read a couple of these other comments. So Bobby, I asked this of David. So I'm gonna ask this of you in a minute. Is where is it different from what it is now to where you saw it a few years ago, or when you were, because you are one of the beginning members, founding members. So think on that for a sec. A couple thoughts from Ming Yang says she's looking for her tribe. Hey Ming, call Brad. He put his email out there. We're looking for all kinds of tribe people. Some people said that Jen's awesome. This person also happens to be my wife. She's my #1 LinkedIn troller. So congrats on 2 years from some folks. Guided collisions. That's a good one. We'll put that one in the bank to start using. Bobby Dixon out in UCOM, out in Italy. Love the tech bridges. Of course, I'm ignoring the compliment he gave me because I'm speaking. Love the tech bridges and the work that NavalX is doing here in Europe. We're doing work in Europe. Awesome. I'm thinking he's probably talking about the London tech bridge. Keep up the good work. So thanks, Bobby. And Tyler says, I love hearing all these stories. Y'all clearly love what you do. Yes, Tyler, we do, for sure. And then a question before I get to Bobby again is, and this is open forum, who wants to answer it? What's one funny moment that's happened this year? Not calendar year, but the past year.
I can definitely, this isn't funny to David or probably at the time, but after the fact, it was funny. But David had organized this brilliant, amazing Seaside chat, and they were all in person. This is when COVID, everybody was doing everything virtual, but he's like, NavalX, we're going to do something in person, right? That's what we do. David gets all his panelists. He gets a great speaker. He's the moderator. And right after David does his introduction, so I'm at home. I'm watching this at home. I'm in the background, and I lose everybody on the NavalX side. The whole building loses. I think it lost internet. And so David, they are presenting and then people. I just see a black screen, and I said, so I have to come online and say, hello everybody. I just want to let you guys know that I have lost my speakers, and luckily I had clothes on. Right? Can I say that? Luckily I had the clothes on, right? Because I was background, and I said, David, let me contact them. So I go on hold. I put on the technical difficulties sign on there, right? And I was like, David, what happened? So they're trying to get the internet up. And it's crazy because we had 200 people on the line waiting for this Seaside chat. And I got nothing. And the internet never came back on. So I literally had to say, okay, David, look, he said they're going to record it. And we sent it out after the fact. But I thought it was funny because that was our first Seaside chat back in person since COVID, and then it went completely wrong.
Well, I mean, I have to say also what was fun and amazing was we'd planned this for months because these senior leaders have very difficult calendars to coordinate, as Matt can attest to. And we had Admiral Fillion and General Watson and Mr. Bray, and then we have a moderator, like she said. And what was amazing and cool about the resilience of that moment is Ashley told our viewers, look, sorry, we'll get the recording to you. We decided right away, let's just record it and we'll get it done. The General, the Admiral, and Mr. Braid didn't even sweat because we just kept going and we recorded it. And I bet you just as many, several thousand people probably ended up seeing the recording. And that's a testament to this team and how we work together and we deal with the fact that the block lost the internet. The whole block lost the internet for an hour. And it was no one's fault, right? But the fact that we were sweating, but no one saw it. And that was pretty awesome. So thanks, Ashley. That was a good memory.
We talked about being adaptable, right? You're going to adapt and overcome. Any other funny moments or stories people want to share?
So I'll share one, and it's a personal one, and it's the times we live in with COVID. So obviously, our lockdown here in the Northeast started around the same time in the rest of the country, around end of February, early March, and it was clear we were all working from our homes and spending a lot of time on Zoom and face to face and whatever, face to face virtually. And around that time, I realized that I've spent my career in professional roles, and I just don't have a lot of casual outfits. I mean, I'm either in pajamas or I dress. So my normal thing is get up and dress and jewelry and whatever. But the one luxury I take is I don't put on fancy shoes. In fact, in the warmer weather, I wear no shoes. I never wear shoes. So this one time comes and we all figured, things were safe enough that about 4 of us were going to come together for a face-to-face, including the Tech Bridge director. And we planned it out for a couple of days and said, okay, we're going to be in a place and all be safe and spaced apart. So my normal morning, I get up and shower, get dressed, whatever. And I look at my watch, it's time to go. So I grab my stuff, I jump in the car, and I'm backing out of the driveway, and something just didn't feel right. And I looked down and I didn't have shoes on. And it occurred to me that my comfort level was so comfortable barefoot that maybe I just shouldn't wear clothes someday. But anyway, Ashley, we won't go there. That's for you. But anyway, I still don't wear shoes, so whatever that's worth.
All right. Hey, I wish we didn't have to wear shoes at all. I'm on the no shoe game. Please set me up for that. So Bobby, you've had some time to process a little bit. Do you need the question again?
So what has changed over the 2 years?
Yeah.
In general. So it was Agility Cell, and actually it was a little bit of a surprise to us when Secretary Gertz announced us. It was like, oh, he just said this thing at a speech. Well, I guess we're live. We were like, we were planning like a month out or 2 months. I can't remember. David was obviously on the team still. It was one of those like, we had planned the first Agility Summit for right after that, and then it was going to be announced kind of after that, and then all of a sudden it became the first NavalX Agility Summit. So, that was us scrambling. There was a lot of different things, and it's actually funny. At the end of the Agility Summit, I still have this, and I will put this up in a frame somewhere. So I'll actually put this up enough to see. So this is, no kidding, at 10 o'clock at night. Johannes Schomburg, myself, Secretary Gertz, and I think there was somebody else there. And one of these, 3M butcher blocks is up on the wall. And this is Secretary Gertz. I need to get him to sign it someday is what I need to do. This is him sketching out what he envisioned NavalX. And it was this super connector, right there, super connector. And, that, hey, it's kind of like LinkedIn, leverage the abundance. Like, we don't want it to be. And that was his vision. He was very clear about it, and he's been very consistent. On our side, the NavalX side, and then eventually the Tech Bridges side, we were trying to go, there was all these great ideas that we were trying to work through, a bunch of different lines of effort, but we weren't really doing that. We hadn't kind of honed in on that. And what's been neat to watch over, now here we are at 2 years, especially with the Tech Bridges, but certainly with NavalX, that is really becoming the clear thing. Like when I talk to industry or when I talk to people in the Navy, it's a differentiator from the other kind of innovation activities like Defense Innovation Unit, SoftWorks, AFWorks. Like, they're great. They do awesome stuff. That's not really it. We can do that. Bring your problem to me and maybe some money and I'll solve it. We can do that. But the real strength and the value that we're seeing with NavalX, and this is the change to what you're asking, is that we're just connecting them to other things that are already going on. And that is really adding value. That better, faster, cheaper is really what's kind of coming from it. Better results, it's happening quicker, and it costs less. That's been the real change. Like, it was always like this is 2 years ago. He sketched this out. And so that's why I said we need to kind of frame it and get him to sign it. This is kind of like the napkin. This is what I think NavalX is. And we kind of push back like, no, we're not really a connector. Like, we can do. Anyway, so that's been cool to watch that evolution. I keep this. That's up on my shelf. So one of these days it will be at the Mid-Atlantic Tech Bridge. So does that answer your question, Matt?
It does. It does. Thank you. And you've kind of, as David, you've seen the entire kind of transformation of then and then back to Connect. And so it's cool to see your perspective, and definitely get that signed and put that'll be your main thing.
Yeah.
In
Hey,
the
Matt.
Tech Bridge.
Can we answer Tyler's question about advice for people coming in as rotationals? I just would say be dynamic and willing to pivot your position. Like you didn't come in to be Mohawk Matt. I didn't come in to be your talent manager, but we all have had to pivot along the way. So I think Ashley didn't think she would be running events, but each one of us has come in with a different idea of what our position might be, and then just the willingness to change midstream has really been the most valuable thing that rotationals need.
I'd like to piggyback if that's okay.
Yep.
This was actually Secretary Gertz had came a couple weeks ago for the NJOC ceremony, and he mentioned that he was talking to them and saying why he created like Bobby Hamby's paper, like us to have that a group of rotationals and not billets. He said as long as there's people that are different backgrounds, different walks of life, different technologies, different everything, you will constantly have NavalX refreshing itself and instead of growing stale like other places. Like by bringing in, like by the time someone starts to get comfortable, they now have brought in new people and it'll constantly refresh. So I actually want to take that back to my command and start implementing, I kind of looking at like, hey, how do we stay ahead of the game? Constantly refreshing. So I was like, hey, maybe supervisors need to not be in places for 20, 30 years, or engineers not be in places for 20, 30 years, or contracts. Like maybe we need to take this outside and keep it refreshing to stay ahead. Who knows? I don't know. I just work here. But I thought that was really great that he said that, and that's what NavalX is, because like most of these people will be gone in the next few months as the other ones are coming in. So
Ashley, you do much more than work here. Don't belittle yourself. You were like the energy. All of us could be sad one day, and you just walk in. You just, what's up, everybody? You were much more than just work here. Just like that, Brad. Just like that. That's how she enters the building. She's like, hello. Well, I think, and David and I have talked about this before. It's kind of creating that balance of, yeah, we got to keep rotations. We are realizing we do need some longer term people. We can't have everyone switching out in a year, because then it's like the phase that we're about to hit right now of who's going to be here in October. Let's raise your hands. Yeah, so there's only 3 or 4 of us on the line. So things rotate. We rotate out, and so I think yes, Ashley, there is that benefit, but there's a little bit of balance that has to happen. We can't all be rotational. But I do like the model of Secretary Gertz has laid out, and also to the method of, even if you don't leave, maybe you change roles. Like David has experimented with different roles. I'm currently changing into different roles so that we all get to do different things, even while being on the same team. So
Matt, I think the key is you take NavalX with you.
Yeah, take NavalX with you?
Yeah, when you leave. Yeah. NavalX doesn't leave the person. The person may just leave the core of the team, but you bring it out and bring it like a family.
Yes, exactly. And
as a Marine, I think that you're used to that, right? You've never been able to leave any organization because you can't leave the Marine Corps. You're not allowed to leave NavalX. Like
I'm not allowed.
It's like Hotel California.
I just keep coming back, so I'm proof of that point. Right?
I know.
I'm excited to see you back, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Exactly. Well, and Ming Ying. If I'm not saying your name wrong, you can yell at me later, but it's can overlap rotation. Yes, we don't have like an exact, you have to be in, you have to be out. We want you to overlap. Like it's not, we have actually some pretty good leeway with that. So again, since that came up again, we're going to put him out in the world. If you are interested in doing a rotation with NavalX, reach out to Bradley Goodrich on the line right there. And as you've heard us talk about, we may be looking for some hard skills, but we're looking for the right people overall. And but we got some other great questions here I want to bounce to.
Hey, Matt, as you get ready to do that, the rotationals, most people tend to think of going to DC, and we've seen with the virtual, obviously, some of the real neat benefits of being in the physical space. We haven't quite been able to get, but we still get some incredible stuff. And I believe this year, David, like we had a rotational down at SoCal Tech Bridge, but there's some discussion about bringing some rotationals to the Tech Bridges instead of purely to NavalX. So as you guys are looking, if you're somebody looking to do a rotational, Mid-Atlantic Tech Bridge, like all the other tech, I'm speaking for the other Tech Bridge directors that if it's a game changer or kills it to be able to have to go to DC, that maybe, being local to one of the tech bridges, like that's still the NavalX network. So it's just something to think about. There's one of my other daughter.
There's another Tech Bridge director down there.
Yes, future Tech Bridge director.
By the way, I guess if you count Navy Capital Region as one, we've got 14 other places where you could be a huge champion of ours. And I think, like Bobby said, SoCal Tech Bridge had basically 2 rotationals, and it was Jonas, who was our digital lead for the last 9 months, I guess, and Anna Borja, who's the human systems integration tech warrant holder in I think at NavWar. So it's pretty amazing that we get all these different talents coming from all over the country. And I think the clear advantage to being at the NavalX headquarters is that ship that you get to walk up the stairs into to get to the offices.
Yeah.
Now, I know that you guys, I know that you guys have been talking a lot about the rotationals on other events and things like that. But for the benefit of those who are maybe signing into this particular event, can you explain what a rotational is and where they come from?
Give me 1 sec, because I have someone that's asked a question twice now. So yes. So Brad, that question's coming back to you in a second. So you have time to gestate that. David, can we get David to come up and speak for the NDIA Lone Star chapter to speak about NavalX? So
sure. I know Rob Dietz well. He and I went to officer candidate school together, so I'm going to call him out on that.
There you go.
He's just messing with me there. And peer pressure works. So Rob, sure, I'll happily talk anywhere in the Lone Star State where I'm from. And also that's another cool thing is I think our team is from even though we only have about a dozen people, if you count all the tech bridges, I think we've got 40 states represented.
Yep, definitely. And countries. We got people in London, don't forget.
Yeah.
And
right.
Chile. We have a
Prince Albert in a can, right?
Yep. So no, great points all around. Brad, you have time to think about it.
Yeah, just to quickly explain, and we should move on from rotationals. We had a recruiting brief last week, and you can check that out on YouTube. But yeah, so we're looking for rotationals. Please email me or find me on LinkedIn, and we can sort of start the conversation there. We're looking for people to join us from all the different syscoms and all the different parts of the Department of Navy, Marine Corps, Navy, etc. And normally people come funded by their home organization to NavalX for about 1 year. One of the other questions is, what did we learn from COVID? You could do a ton on Teams. You could do a ton with remote work. You don't have to move to Washington to strictly do a 9-to-5 sort of local job. So if, as Bobby says, it's a deal breaker and you really want to stay in location X, we could probably accommodate that now. And we look forward to starting the conversation.
Wait a minute. Is 9 to 5 an option? what is this 9 to 5 stuff you're talking about?
It's a goal to manage your time effectively.
When you're doing what you love, there is no such thing as 9 to 5.
Especially if you got to talk to Hawaii and London in the same day.
Yes, definitely. That can be a thing. So let's see. Who hasn't? Mike, you've talked a little bit, but now you're going to get to talk some more. What are we know you're new to NavalX. What are you looking forward to doing? Have you gotten to think about that at all?
I've gotten to think of that a little bit. I think the thing I'm looking forward to doing is kind of just helping explain to people, what all these buzzwords are that they keep hearing about, and they know is supposed to be important to their job, but they have a job. They don't necessarily have time to go and read every Wikipedia article written, and especially like some of these things end up with entire baggage trails behind of pro this, con that, right? And you can't even research this anymore without getting caught up into nerds fighting about Scrum versus XP or so just cutting through some of the fog of war, the fog of learning, and just laying out to people hey, this is Agile, hey, this is DevOps, right? They're not exactly the same thing, but they're related, and here's why you care. And once you start caring, here's why your organization cares, and here's why the Navy cares, and here's why ultimately this helps you and your organization impact the warfighter. so that we can stay competitive in this great power competition that we have going on. So I have been paying attention to our bosses and their strategic documents, but it all comes back to getting the workforce to understand how it is that what they do with these techniques impacts their ability to support the warfighter. And that's what I'm excited to kind of get after here in my tour.
Fantastic. And if you guys can't tell, Commander Mike Pine, Bobby Commander, right? You Commander? Commander Hanvey and Lieutenant Commander Franco, all service members. We're not just looking for civilian, like Brad talked to. Again, I'm not trying to go down rotational again, but we have people of all types of life and work, Marines, sailors. I am going to shift a little bit the conversation, because one thing we're missing right now is some representation of Centers for Adaptive Warfighting. So the CAW has transformed incredibly in the last year, especially since the last year and a half since I've been on. David, can you talk a little bit about that? Some things that they're working on and rolling out.
Yeah. So John Marglich, our Marine Captain Jag by Isabel, and Gunnery Sergeant Brandon Smarts were on the team, and all of us had been through some level of human-centered design and agile scrum training, some of that through a Navy commander at EOD Mobile Unit 2, I think. And we knew that there was something in it. And, those different kinds of methodologies were really catching fire in the private sector and even in the academic world, but it didn't seem like the Navy and Marine Corps had seen a lot of those things. So John and Brandon here. Awesome. Hey, Brandon. So if Brandon wants to jump on, it'd be great to have him. But anyway, at the end of the day, though, we, John and Brandon kind of sequestered in a digital room somewhere and decided we got to create something different called the Centers for Adaptive Warfighting that's going to bring some of these methods to Marines, sailors, acquisition civilians, and others. And Mike Lavery, who runs that team now in our workforce agility line of effort, Mike has seen folks from Army 101st Airborne. We've had airmen, we've had Marines, sailors, and soldiers, and we've had a lot of acquisition civilians jump into our courses. I think we've trained I think it's 2,500 students now in the last year and a half. And it's just been really amazing to see not only that 1 or 2 days of training has a lifelong impact for some of these guys and gals, but also the connections people make in these classes because they're so interesting, fun, and intense. A lot of people are telling us, oh yeah, I'm working with this person I didn't know before. We're both using Scrum now, or we're both using human-centered design, or now we're working with this Defense Entrepreneurs Forum group called Agitare, and we're helping them. So it's just really cool to see great ideas take off and spread around the Department of the Navy and beyond. It's really been fun.
That's fantastic. Well, I know watching some stuff that I'm not going to share, but some things that happened the last few weeks, they're doing some major transformational stuff. They always have been. Centers for Adaptive Warfighting is one of those things that you couldn't get rid of it if you wanted to, because it started grassroots, as you kind of talked to. So it's really deepened in there. But I know they're working on some awesome things for some senior levels across the Marine Corps and the Navy that are going to fold out some pretty cool things soon.
And they would get mad at me if I didn't mention that most of the people who run that are Marines, or active duty Marines, doing it in their free time whenever they can with top cover. And we would love more sailors and civilians to join the efforts.
And volunteers. Only one of them is a NavalX rotational.
That's right. Thanks, Mike Lavery.
Yeah, we have lots of room there. To Brad's point, more rotationals. Come on, come one, come all. So another question for the group. And anyone can take this. What have you seen NavalX have to stop because it wasn't working? We talked about being adaptable.
I will. One thing I'll say, and I think Brad, you may have a different take on this, but I know Frank and Chubbs and Chris and I spent a lot of time before COVID pounding the pavement, showing people and telling people what we do. And it wasn't having as much impact as we thought it might. So we really stopped doing as many of those 101s and kind of pushed that to the background. So if someone said, I really want your 101 pitch, we can give it. But we stopped going command to command trying to convince people of the value. We just started saying, look, we're proving ourselves every day. We don't really need to do these pitches anymore.
Yeah, just to jump on that, we did have a conversation about that just this past week with some of our leaders, and I think it's important to sort of show sort of folks what NavalX could do, but we find great value in talking with the working level at that GS 9 through 14, 15 about what we could do and what we could do tomorrow, not just sort of what we could do theoretically. And it's absolutely that sort of grassroots, bottom-up, approach that we think is unique to NavalX. We don't tend to prescribe a top-down, we know what innovation looks like and we know what works. Here's how you go and do it. We think we want to hear from you, remove barnacles, remove obstacles, add gasoline to things that are working, and let those flourish elsewhere in the Navy. But to your point, David, I think 2 years in, we could probably go back to them and say, hey, this is what we're up to. We're working with your teams at these levels, and you should be aware of immediate successes like these that we've had so far.
Definitely. And Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, so obviously I've only been here 2 weeks, so this all predates me. But we've experimented with some digital tools and digital platforms out there that either had some users but didn't quite get the traction needed in the wider NavalX, or had some users but just kind of got overtaken by a DoD solution, like Teams, right? We can chat with each other on Teams, and we can also chat with the rest of the DoD now. And so what we were using before was no longer a superior solution to Teams, so we just hopped over to Teams. And I think that's actually like a really important question you bring up, because I've seen it a lot in my career that you keep pounding on the solution that is the solution because it is the solution, and people have decided that it is the solution, or not just important people making decisions, but there's a lot of face, there's a lot of reputation, there's a lot of money, there's a lot of X, Y, and Z that has all wrapped up in here somewhere. That would make it really hard to just say, hey, this isn't actually helping people. And even then, though, I've seen bad decisions, or decisions that didn't pan out finally get turned off. But usually it took longer than it had to, and that's actually really important for us. Is if you want to make decisions or experiments quick, you got to know how to say no when it's not panning out.
So, Mike, I like the way that you captured that. Like Slack was one that we used, that has been overcome by Teams, and the playbooks, which while we still have some, we realized the way that we were starting playbooks was just not working. So that question, like what you were capturing, and this really does epitomize NavalX, is, are we just making the wrong solution easier to do? Or are we proving that it's the wrong solution and we now need to go find another one? Now, fighting the bureaucracy is different and faster. That's culture, and it takes a while. But things like the CAW have spread, not because NavalX is the sole reason. It's because the organization has wanted it, and it's grown, and we just have enabled that kind of start. So yeah, it is kind of neat. That's a neat question, whoever posted it, about what have we kind of gotten rid of or stopped using, because there's a couple things. But I think another part, rather than what we stop, is how fast we have changed what we are doing. There's some things that took too long, even from NavalX perspective, but we're like, this is just not working. We're not getting what we think, or this is going to be a lot of money for effort. Let's go different roads. Yeah, that's been one of the more refreshing parts of working on the NavalX and TechBridge side.
And Lee, over to you. You had a thought.
Yeah, one of the things that evolved, and I was so impressed with it. You get involved with most initiatives, and right away you get into, okay, how are we going to show value? How are we going to measure value? And metrics, for better or worse, is a big part of the culture, particularly with on the DoD side. And so the initial conversation sounded a lot like, well, maybe we should measure events, and maybe we should weigh and measure meetings, and how many people attend, and how many people we touch, and how many emails are sent in a week, or how many times we've corresponded. And very quickly, and much more quickly than I ever would have imagined, the conversations got real, and measurement changed to, what are those things that really make an impact? And I know I can speak for our ecosystem, but I think this reflects what the entire team has experienced. We're measuring where value happens. For instance, projects that we promote or get involved with or lead or do project management that result in a solution concept. Maybe it's a company that, because of a connection we made into a funding program, an acceleration program, a prize challenge, a cyber project, ends up getting funded. Or maybe a phase one that, because we've intervened and helped out in a way and maybe connected them with the prime contractor, moves on to a phase two. Maybe it's an OTA, another transaction authority project that came out because a project concept can move in now into a hardware prototype or something like that. Those are just examples, but those are the things we're reporting and measuring, which feel a lot more fulfilling and a lot more connected to end value than initially was discussed.
Yeah,
Has to happen at least once.
yeah.
Thank you for that, Leanne, and Bobby and everyone, David, for your comments, and Brad there. We've also got one from Brandon Smart, who said he was too busy because he's doing midterms to join us live, but he's still throwing comments down. So we'll read them off for Brandon. Stop saying yes to everything. Better to help people solve their own problems through teaching and connecting rather than trying to solve everyone's problem for them. And that's when I know I've had oodles of conversation on this with David. I think that's why his team created their scorecard for some of the work they do, is because, we can't, especially in what we do early on, especially for me coming on the team, is like, it's a 3-star, it's a 4-star. Well, everyone we talk to is that. So we can't say yes to all of them. So we had to really refine what we say yes to, why we say yes, how we do. Is it really for us to do or not? So great points for that. Brad, I think this is for you. Where do I sign up for that? This is Tyler. I think he loves everything that we're talking about and doing. So once again, Tyler, the way you sign up is to email Brad Goodrich. And that email right there, no matter what it's for. And if it's for NavalX, great. If it's to learn some great cooking recipes, he will also help you.
Lucky for Tyler, we're already in touch. So we've been conversing by email.
Okay.
Hey,
good.
Matt, can I ask our, at least you and the others, question? I'd like to hear from you guys. What is success for NavalX? If NavalX is still around in 10 years, what's your mindset on what success would have been?
Great question. Ashley?
I think I would love to be able to come back and tap into this larger champion network. So we talk about that. Like once you leave NavalX, I forgot who said it, but it's like you never leave NavalX, it's in you or something like that. But like I think it talks about more so the values we learn, the interactions we have, the type of work we do, that adaptable, innovative, agile, like all those fancy buzzwords, right? If that stays and continues, you've now started this infectious culture that starts to move about the rest of the Department of the Navy, in a good way. So like all the strengths, all the good things, the bad things, the lessons learned, we carry that into our other areas of work. And then like more people are now getting this. So it's like we're building this champion of networks and these champions of people that believe in this. And like we're infected. We're like NavalX are going to be like a good virus, right? We're going to be infectious and changing people and moving out. And the network, okay, in 10 years, if you take like 15 rotational a year, it's like, 150 people, right? But the people we will impact is now hundreds, and those people impact are hundreds. And that's my engineering side coming out.
Thanks, Ashley. Brad?
Sorry, I was stalking us also on LinkedIn at the same time. It's fun to see both. I think the future state, David, is a great question. Is that you don't have to come to NavalX to experience that 1-year rotation to know that you also can change the Navy. That you too can as by working for the Navy can change the Navy. That you too are empowered by all of the encouragement that we get from all of our senior leaders. That status quo is not going to cut it. That business as usual is not going to be enough. That as the world changes, as the great power competition changes, that we absolutely need to come up with keep pace with the pace of technology. All of that matters. And I'd be thrilled if others got that inspiration as well through a variety of our efforts.
Fantastic. And David, because I have severe ADD, ask me the question again.
So Matt, what would be the ideal state for you? We're all gone. It's been 10 more years. What what do you think a successful NavalX is looking like in 10 years?
Well, partly that nobody in the Navy or Marine Corps has to go to NavalX because everything is so well known that they're like, yeah, we are a super connector and we can connect people, but we don't want to have to do that forever, at least in my mind. I think the beauty is maybe a NavalX doesn't have to exist. And I don't mean, yes, it will always be there, but parts of it, I also in 10 years hope that we are not trying to solve the same problems we are now. Like, I would love to have teams of people doing the things that we are doing, or we don't at all. I think we're a great incubator of things. And then if there's a place for them to live, let's push them out into the wild and see if the little birdies can fly and let them live. I don't think that personally, I don't want to see NavalX has 500 people. I want to see, because we have warfare centers, labs, we have all the awesome teammates out there doing these great things. I want us to keep being small, maybe a few more than we have right now. As we all know, talk about that 9 to 5. But all of this is happening everywhere. And the innovation from a monetary standpoint, I'd love to see that there's an innovation budget across the Navy that exceeds 40%. That's a high number, but that's 10 years from now. Like that, that's where I see isn't just at NavalX is what it's transforming it into. And as you're a big fan of this, David, I'm not saying this because you're a big fan of this, as you're a big proponent of this, is the DoD connections are even stronger. Because, yeah, we're working tirelessly to make them deeper within the Navy and the Marine Corps, but we still got to come together as sister organizations and partners. I mean, shoot, the fact that right now, if I was at a lab or warfare center, not all of them, but where I was in China Lake, I didn't know what people did down the hall from me, let alone in the Navy, let alone in the Air Force. And I say that meaning I didn't know they could help me. Like, there are so many people out there that can help each other doing things. And that's why I put so much energy into the podcast, the videos. It's very little. It's not about me at all, other than my sweet hair and giving people sweet hair tips. It has nothing to do with me. It has to do with the connecting them to all the people. That's why I'm putting out so many videos, because they're, for me, so a goal for like the podcast videos 10 years from now, all 700,000 Navy employees have been interviewed. All of them. Because I think everyone has a story and something that someone else can learn from. That's
Matt,
David, you put a quarter in me is what my wife said. So there you go. I can't shut up. Lee, go ahead.
To complement what you're saying, David, all I could think of was an organization that is kind of, running on automatic, but becomes a feeder experience, a feeder for really wonderful, courageous, caring, and smart champions that are across not just the Navy, but that eventually are across DoD and our communities. And they come out tied in together through, across the national ecosystems without taking 40 years to do so in their careers. And that's when I think we will have won this.
Fantastic. Thank you, Lee. Jen, anything to add on to David's question?
Well, I'm going to sound terribly shallow, but at that risk, I'll go ahead and say that I really want NavalX to be top of mind. If people have problems, if they're getting into, those hard places where there's seemingly no solution, I want the first thing that comes to mind is I'm going to reach out to NavalX. And that's kind of the opposite of what some of the other opinions were here, but I want it to be a household brand almost for the Navy. And I think that there is a real place for us to always be an advocate for innovation, because that need will always be there from a national security perspective.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jen.
That's cool, Jen. And I see value in everyone's responses here. I think that, whether we are still called NavalX or whether we're, people like us should still be empowered and enabled in 10 years. And I like the idea of maybe there's still being a NavalX in a different form that helps with the Navy and Marine Corps of that time. And like you said, Matt, it'd be amazing if this were some kind of cross-federal, cross-DoD innovation network that we were actually using maybe a common digital set of tools, which I know that some people are pushing. But just as importantly as the digital tools, and we on our team know this very well, those tools are useless if you don't change the way people are treated and the way you value people and seeing their value not just in a transactional sense, but in a, like Matt does all the time, you know, like this is another person and they're going through life and they're going through their experience as a professional. And I don't want to pigeonhole people anymore into like, you're an engineer, be engineering, right? You're a logistician, do logistics. Like that really hasn't, I don't think that will work anymore in this century for us to stay ahead of the adversaries. You know, I think that the key for us is that we can collaborate freely. Like that is our strategic advantage, and we should leverage that.
Yeah, well, I think that's great, David. I think that in general, not just the Navy, the world is realizing that power of stop saying that you have to have a degree and you have to know this, you have to know this. Yeah, there are certain things that we need certain people for, but if it's the 80-20 rule, if everyone could have 20% of their time to experiment different things and try different things, then maybe we'll find out. Like Ashley is about to. For those that don't know, Ashley's about to be doing videos and live casting and podcast stuff because she's very good at it. And I gave her a challenge. She asked me to do it 6 months ago, and I gave her a challenge to do something else, and she's accomplished that. And now she's going to freaking do it, and she's going to dominate because she's a warrior and she's amazing. And it's something she never thought she was going to come and do here. I mean, Ashley's the perfect example, David, of being engineering. She is and I'm going to make her head big for a second. She is the nationwide Navy expert on this one thing that she still gets called for. That's all she did for 10 years. She come to NavalX. Well, we didn't have that one thing here. So she found a hole. She filled it gloriously. She's amazing. And she's bowing, of course.
And I guess we should say thank you also, not only to our leadership, Mr. Gertz and Mr. Stephanie and Admiral Selby and Miss Sandell and the others who have really lifted us up, and you know, Major Wood, who got us started, and Captain Futcher, Commander Gray, Captain Margalit. Like we've had anyone else I'm missing. I think I said Tink and Scott's names earlier, but we've had an amazing team that has really helped build this dream out for the department. And then we've had the department inspire us in kind. And really, we would be not a very valuable group if we didn't have this amazing department full of talents who give us new challenges and new things to be inspired by every day.
Yeah, and one of those talents was Mike Pine, whose battery died. That's why he left the feed.
Even a digital, tightener like Mike Pine. Because Mike's on our digital team, but just like Jonas has Wi-Fi issues, Mike has laptop battery issues, and we like to stay humble. Right?
we got to keep something to keep us down a peg. For sure. Well, thank you. I know other people have left the conversation. Thanks to everyone who has joined, who's out there. We do this all day. We could go on for hours and talk to ourselves. We are going to have in the next few weeks NavalX Ask Me Anything publicly. We've got an internal one that's getting planned as well. We're going to have one, and this is for all you out there that are seeing this right now. Businesses will have more TechBridge reps on here, whatever. Just more of this engagement with you all. I love going live, and I could go live every single day, but I want to bring different aspects of the team and different things that we do to help answer your questions. So, Brad, thank you. Jen, thank you. Ashley, Rockstar Ashley, thank you. Lee, you're awesome, thank you. And David, thank you so much. And Michael, Bobby, who else did we lose? Isabel, thank you as well. So everyone else, folks on the line, stay on the line real quick. Everyone else, have a great day and talk to you next time. See ya.